What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome. I'm here today with a review for Power, Season 5, Episode 10, the season finale, which was a great episode. Only downfall about this episode was the fact that somebody spoiled this shit all over social media. That was the only downfall. So when I got to the end of the show, I'm like, I'm not really surprised. Like, I already saw this happen. Thanks to the asshole who did that shit. Alright, so the episode, it started out with Tommy. He's getting high as hell. You got Tasha over there in Raina's closet. And then you got Ghost. He's looking for Angela. He's frantic and all that kind of shit. Basically about the stuff that Proctor told him. And then over with Angela, she's at the prosecution's office and she's getting questioned about, you know, the whole Mike Sandoval thing. She's getting questioned about Tony Teresi and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, they can't, the deals that they are offering her is not good at all because they're not giving her any kind of immunity. It's a possible immunity. And her lawyer's like, you know, either she gets full immunity or, you know, we're not talking period. So Tamika says the best thing that she can do at this point is, you know, give her a suspended sentence, disbarment, and witness protection. And, you know, Angela wants 24 hours to think about this and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, they leave out the room. Blanca is still standing outside. And she's like, did Angela give up anything? And they were like, absolutely not shit. She didn't give up anything. And then in the interrogation room, Angela with her lawyer, he's basically telling Angela that right now that, you know, this offer that they're giving her is going to be the best bet that she can, you know, get right now. And then we got a blast from the past. It's Terry. He is at that hotel that Tasha's staying at. He's waiting for Tasha to come in. And then Tasha, you know, is like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then, you know, he tells her about how James was threatening to expose their relationship and make it seem like it was sooner than what it was to the ethics committee and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that was if he didn't lie for James and all that kind of stuff. But, again, she doesn't really want to hear that bullshit. And I'm like, you know, you bailed on her when she needed you the most. And then she gets a text from Angela saying that they need to meet up. And once she tells Terry, you know, she don't want to see him again. And then you got Tommy. That nigga is still high as fuck. He's at home, and then Keisha's at the door knocking, and, you know, he goes and let Keisha in and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, Keisha's still talking about how she's worried about him and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, he's telling her how she needs to leave and all that kind of stuff, but she's still standing there. And, you know, like I said, he kept telling Keisha to leave. And then eventually he got upset and turned around and, you know, jumped at her and told her to leave. Then she wants to get mad and leave. I'm like, he asked you to leave multiple times, but you're going to still sit there. You can clearly see he's not in his right mind, and you're going to still sit here. Like, what the fuck, Todd? I mean, Keisha. Keisha kind of works my nerves just a little bit. Like, I just don't get her sometimes. But once Keisha walks out the door, that's when, you know, Tommy gets a text from Tasha talking about, you know, they need to meet up. And that Ghost is on his way to pick him up. All right, so Ghost does go pick up Tommy, and Tommy gets in the car with Ghost, and you can still tell that he's high as hell. He's tore up about what he did to Teresi, but he does tell Ghost that, you know, he was right. He killed, you know, Teresi was a rat. He was working with the feds and all that kind of shit, and that he handled Teresi. And, you know, Ghost, who already knows all this shit, is like, you know, we brothers, Tommy, and maybe now, with Teresi out of the picture, we can get back to, you know, shit as normal, which I'm like, what is normal for you two? But, you know, we'll see how this goes forward with those two. Okay, so now we have them all meeting up. First, it's Angela and Tasha. They're meeting up with each other. Tasha's telling Angela how, you know, Terry is back. He's asking questions about all kind of shit. And, you know, how he's trying to apologize to her and everything. And then, you know, Angela asks Tasha, well, is he still in love with you? And, you know, Tasha's like, why? And Angela's like, you know, we need to keep him close because we're all in danger and we don't know why he's actually showing back up. So, you know, Angela meets up, so they all meet up together at their old high school. It's Angela, Tasha, Ghost, and Tommy. And Angela's just giving them, you know, telling them that she was interrogated for 21 hours. She was interrogated, and she has 21 hours to decide if she's going to testify against them or, you know, if she's gonna testify against him, basically. And Angela's giving them a rundown of what the prosecution currently has. So over at the prosecution's office, they are talking about how they think everything runs deeper. The network runs a lot deeper with those four, and that they want to bring in Keisha and Proctor. So they, like I said, they think everything comes back to the four, which is Angela, Ghost, Tommy, and Tasha. So basically, what it is Angela says that if none of them, the state need a witness. If none of them give each other up, they're good. But they also need to work on individual people. So Ghost needs to work on Proctor, and Tasha needs to work on Keisha, and Angela will work on Dre. Excuse me, I don't know what is going on with me. I think I got a little bit of cold. Okay. And at the Fed's office, they have Terry Silver there. Basically, Terry's role is to get Tasha to flip on all of them and possibly get her some kind of immunity deal. And, once Angela's done briefing him and all that kind of stuff, Ghost is chasing behind Angela, telling her, what Proctor said, that, he feels like she was going to turn on him and all that kind of stuff. And Angela's like, if I was going to turn on you, I would have already done that. I wouldn't be here now. You would have never saw me again. So that's neither here nor there. Okay, so then we got Dre. He's fucking his baby mama. And, there are two guys that break into the apartment that he's in. And, he notices that there's someone there. So once they get in there, he kills both of them. And then he goes to one of them's pocket and he finds a card. And it's one of the Jimenez cards. And then he figures out that Alicia is putting the hit out on his ass. So, he tells his baby mama, hey, you and the baby go to your mama's house where you safe and let me, figure some shit out at this point. And then you guys, Mike, he goes meet up with Tate. And he wants to know information on Tate's business dealings with James at this point. And, he also wants Tate to be an informant for his office. And he says that if he works with his office, that they will forgive some of Tate's wrongdoings, which Tate says, I don't know what you're talking about. And then, Mock is like, when they were doing their, when they did their raids on, Truth and Keisha's salon and all that kind of stuff, they found out some stuff about Tate, which Mock is trying to hold over Tate in order for him to cooperate with what he wants him to do. And I'm like, isn't this blackmail? Like, everybody on this show is corrupt and crooked as fuck. Okay, so now we have Tasha. She's going over to Keisha's house to see if Keisha is still, don't keep her mouth closed now that the feds are sniffing around and they're trying to find more information. And Keisha's like, bitch, you came to my apartment. I'm sitting here crying. You didn't even notice I was crying. Tasha said, you were crying? I started laughing because I'm like, Tasha don't give a fuck about Keisha at this point. And, like I said, Keisha is visibly upset. And, she was talking about, you didn't check on me after I was questioned by the feds for 3 hours and all that kind of shit. Hell, I'm like, okay, Keisha. Woe is me. I get that Tasha has been using you lately, but what the fuck? Like, you could have easily said no. Like, what's so hard about saying no? I'm not gonna help you and all that kind of stuff. Like, Keisha, like I said earlier, she works my damn nerves. And then Tasha does apologize to her, and she says that she's not the same since Raina and all that kind of stuff. And Keisha's like, I understand that and all that kind of stuff. And then Tasha once again asks her if they good and all that kind of, ask about all that kind of stuff. And Keisha, still pissed off, kicks Tasha out of her apartment. So once she leaves the apartment, she takes time and tell him, you need to check up on, you need to get your girl in line and all that kind of shit. I'm like, good luck with that one. That's the reason why she's upset is because of Tommy, but you don't know that because you didn't ask no question. All right, so now we got Angela. She's meeting up with Dre. Dre's talking about how he needs to be put in a witness protection ASAP. And, Angela's like, okay, we can get that done. But first, I need one more thing from you. I need you to say, implicate the Jimenez in Sandoval's death and also Teresa, no, it's not Teresa, it's the Lobos. So, basically, Angela's telling Dre what she wants him to say. That Alicia, killed Lobos so that she can get, their territory. And that she killed Mike because Mike was a loose end and all that kind of stuff. And, Dre says that, okay, and Dre says he'll do it. And he just needs the witness protection for him and his daughter. Fuck his baby mom and all that kind of stuff. And, she's like, okay, if you do this, got you taken care of. Okay, so you got Tasha. She's with Terry. She basically wants to know what the fuck is Terry doing back. And, he asked her if, she meant what she said about divorcing James once the Queen's Child Project was done and all that kind of stuff. And she said, yes, I did mean it when I said it. And, he's like, well, maybe you need to start the divorce process now, because if you divorced, James and all that kind of stuff, the feds will offer you immunity if you testify against him. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because he's telling her about the indictments that, the feds want to bring down against him and all that kind of stuff. And, basically Terry's trying to talk her into taking a deal to be with him and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why would she want to be with you now after when she asked you to have her back, you went on a leave from your office and you completely packed up your apartment? Like, why would she want to do that shit now? Why? And then you got Sax. He is talking to Keisha about both Tommy and Tasha and how they think, she's cleaning the money for them, which she did in the past, but she's not currently doing it. And he says, he will let her walk if she if she can get Tommy to flip on James. And she's like, well, I'm not a snitch and neither is Tommy, so good luck with that shit. And then, he mentions that James is the one behind, killing Teresi and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, Keisha, what the fuck you gonna do? Like, you gonna mess something up. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, why would... Because I know he was doing that to plant a seed in Keisha's head, but I'm like, what the fuck is Keisha gonna do with this information that he just gave her? Like, I don't know what she's gonna do. And then you got Proctor. He's meeting with James, when he wants into truth. James tells him to lift his shirt up because, James is not sure if he's wearing a wire and all that kind of stuff. And he tells James, that was out of desperation and all that kind of stuff. And then, James tells him, well, Angela did not turn on me, and all that kind of stuff. Like, she had an opportunity, she was brought in for questioning, and she didn't do it. She didn't break and all that kind of stuff. And then, Project telling him how they are trying to link him to the Lobos and Sandoval cases. And then he tells him that Terry Silver is back. And, Terry Silver links all of them together through Angela about this whole Sandoval thing. And, Proctor wants Ghost to flip on Tommy and all that kind of stuff. And Ghost like, I'm not gonna flip on Tommy. Like, that's family. Like, I'm not gonna do that shit. Like, find another way. Like, he's not flipping. Okay, so next we got Angela. She's meeting up with her sister. I think her name is Paz or something like that. And, Paz is telling her that Mott came to her shop. And, she's telling Angela, basically, take that deal that they offering you. Like, you have no other choice at this point. So her sister basically just wants her to start her life all over. And Angela says, she thinks she has a way out of it. And she goes to her apartment. She thinks she has a way out of it. Basically, she's doing everything she can for Jamie and all that kind of stuff. And her sister's upset about that shit. Like, if you need to start over, start over. It's okay. Like, you can sleep on my couch. You can do whatever. Like, just, take care of yourself. So she goes back to her apartment. Ghost is there. And, she's upset. She's like, why are you here? Like, we got all this shit against us right now. And, they both talk about the people that they had to deal with. James with Proctor, her with Dre. They both say it's handled and all that kind of shit. And, James wants to know what's next for them at this point. And, once this is all over, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is next for y'all, because it can't be nothing good, because y'all, it's like, y'all are both facing charges. So unless y'all can get out of this shit, I don't know what's next for y'all. And, Angela tells him to leave. I'm like, girl, you might want to get that dick one good time before we go. Because he could go to jail, you can go to jail. And what happened at the end, you should have got that dick. Like, I'm so pissed off about the spoilers that was all over social media. Like, I'm pissed off about this shit. Okay, so today is the day groundbreaking for the Queen's Child Project. So you got Tate and James, they are together. And, Tate says that he wants to postpone his announcement of his race for governor and all that kind of stuff. He's talking about the investigation into Tommy and all that kind of stuff. And basically, he's telling Ghost that he needs to turn on Tommy as well. And Ghost, is like, hell, I'm not turning on Tommy and all that kind of shit. And then, Tate is like, well, if you don't turn on him, if the feds come after you, I have to cooperate with them and all that kind of shit. And, James telling him it won't come to that point. So, Tate goes up to the podium. He announces that he is running for governor. Then, Ghost comes up on stage. He gives his little speech with Tasha out there in the crowd. And then Tasha comes up, and then they notice, and then, the camera pans out to the audience, and then there's that girl Maria, who is willing to testify against Ghost because of him killing her boyfriend and all that kind of stuff. And, once they leave, James goes up to Tasha and asks Tasha why come she didn't tell him that Terry is back? And she's like, this is the first time that I'm hearing about Terry being back. And James like, well, I find it hard to believe and all that kind of shit. And he basically tells Tasha just to stay the hell away from Terry. Okay, so then you got Keisha. She's going over to Tommy's apartment to talk to Tommy about what happened earlier in the day. And, she's telling Tommy, she mentions, the time that his dad is dead and all that kind of shit. And she tells him about Sax wanting him to turn on Ghost. And then she also says that Sax said he killed, Tommy, not Tommy, but Ghost killed, Teresa and all that kind of shit. Which, he says it's a lie. And then, Keisha, the way she's talking, it kind of seems like she wants to flip as well on all of them. So, Tommy has a gun up under the pillow of his couch, and he pulls the gun out, and then, he cocks it. And, Keisha says that she's not going to turn on him. She says she's going to turn on him, then I'm guessing he's going to kill her. But if she says she's sticking with him and all that kind of shit, she lives. But Keisha does say that, she's going to ride for them and all that kind of stuff. So Tommy puts the gun back up under the pillow, and, that's that with Tommy and Keisha. All right, so then we have Dre. He is meeting up with Two-Bit. Two-Bit is giving him some money and all that kind of stuff. And then Two-Bit asks him, who would want to kill you and all that kind of stuff. And Dre says Alicia, and he's like, but she's in jail, so why would she want to come after you? And Dre's like, I don't know, which is a bullshit ass lie, but whatever. And then, Dre tells Two-Bit how, Ghost is fucking Angela, and Angela wants him to say that, Alicia, was behind Lobo's murder and how she's behind Sandoval, which he don't know shit about Sandoval, but he does know that Ghost and Tommy were behind the Lobos and all that kind of stuff. And, once he gets there, he's going to flip. He's not going to tell the feds that it was actually Alicia. He's going to tell them that it was Ghost and Tommy. And, Two-Bit is just looking at him like, so you a rat now? And he's like, I got a daughter. And I'm like, okay, Dre, whatever, if you say so. All right, then you got, once again, Tasha, she's meeting up with Terry. And, she wants to know, well, how did you know about this Rico stuff and all that kind of stuff? And he's then telling her about Sandoval's situation with, how Angela gave up that information and, she was she was wrong for doing that and all that kind of shit. And then she asked him if he was brought back to get her to turn on Ghost, which he says, yes. And she's like, I'm not going to turn on Ghost. That's the father of my kids and all that kind of stuff. And, she wants him to say that Angela never told him anything about Sandoval, but at this point, he's already done that. So she's like, well, why don't you just put it on Proctor? Like, he got some dirty other clients and all that kind of shit, so why don't you just put it on Proctor? So basically what it is not Keisha, but Tasha is playing on the fact that Terry is madly in love with her and all that kind of stuff. And then, they start to fuck with Ghost in the background. He can overhear everything that's going on between those two. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not going to be. And then you got Two-Bit. He is meeting up with Tommy. He's basically telling Tommy that Dre is a snitch, that, he's going to tell the feds that it was Ghost and Tommy who killed Lobos and all that kind of stuff. And then, Tommy's like, why are you doing this and all that kind of stuff? And he's like, Kanan told me if you ever got into any trouble to come work with you and all that kind of stuff. He's like, you got product and I got people with, I can't remember exactly what he said, but, basically for them to work with each other and all that kind of shit. And then, he also tells Tommy how Kanan, he gave Kanan a drop about how Ghost was trying to get rid of Jason. How the whole plan was that Ghost would kill Diego if Drake killed Jason for them and all that kind of stuff. So, and basically Two-Bit telling Dre that they got a common enemy, which is Dre at this point, so they can work together to get rid of him. And Two-Bit has already set Dre up to be killed based on that information that Dre gave him about, the meetup with Angela and all that kind of shit. So, Tommy tells not Dre, but Two-Bit to get out the car. He got some shit to do. So he makes a phone call while, once Two-Bit gets out that car. So now Dre is going to look for Angela, but he's walking into this setup that Two-Bit did for him. And, the guys come in there, they got shooting at him and all that kind of shit, and he's shooting at them, and he's killing a few of them. But he runs out of bullets, and then when he tries to put some more bullets in the gun, he's outnumbered. So then this nigga runs and jumps out of a window, and, Tommy's right there. And then once he runs out the window, pulls one of the FBI vans, and he hops in the van. And there's Tempio there, basically with the deal that Angela has for Dre, that, if he says that Alicia was the one behind Lobo's death and Sandoval, that he would have his witness protection. So, they were like, so what is it going to be? Are you going to do this or we're gonna send you back out there. And then Tommy takes his gun and he shoots at the van. And they were like, so what are you gonna do? Dre signs the paperwork. Tampio texts Angela, tell her it's signed, and then Angela texts Tommy on that phone that he made a phone call on earlier that, Dre signed the paperwork. He's like, I'm right. Excuse me. He's like, that's right, you little bitch. All right, so we got Terry's lawyer, who is played by MC Light, and she's in there with emotion with Mock and Sax in there, and Angela's lawyer's there too, and they're telling how they have Andre as a witness, with Alicia in jail, saying that Alicia was the one who killed Lobos, and she was behind Sandoval and all that kind of stuff, and then Mock and Sax was like, well, Terry Silver, he said that Angela was the one that told him about Sandoval been in MCC and all that kind of stuff. And, Terry's lawyer is like, well, and then the judge was like, well, can you explain that? And so, my client was under, stress and all that kind of stuff. He was worried about his career and all that kind of stuff. Like, how could he go and represent clients if they think that he works with, the feds and all that kind of stuff, which was a good point. I'm like, good one. That makes him look bad. I'm like, okay. And then, they're talking about Angela's lawyer being there and all that kind of stuff. And, so looks like everything has worked out perfectly, so we think. And then you got Mock, he's in his office, he's packing up to go to DC. Sax comes in and, he's telling him how, they still have Maria who's willing to testify against Ghost and Tommy. And then they still have Teresi's testimony. And Sax, Mock is just like, Angela, got me this job in DC, I'm gonna take it. And, it is what it is at this point. And I'm so happy that this Pinky and a Brain duo is breaking up because they were really working on my last motherfucking nerves. Like I said earlier, everybody in this office is crooked and corrupt. Like they all do some underhanded illegal bullshit. Like what? All right, so Tommy and Keisha, they are together. They are watching TV and they hear a knock at the door. So Tommy goes to see who's at the door and he sees that it is Sax and he tells Keisha to go hide. So, he opens the door and Sax is there with fake, empathy for, him losing his father and all that kind of shit. And then he wants to tell him that Angela and Ghost were behind killing his dad. And, Tommy's like, that's a bullshit ass lie. And, Tommy tells him that, Teresa was a snitch and he deserved to die and then all that kind of shit. And then Sax had got that recording where Teresa was actually, turning on Ghost and not Tommy. And he actually gives Tommy that recording and Tommy continuously plays that shit over and over and over again. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not going to end well. And this is what we saw. If anybody saw the shit that was on social media, this explains what we saw, which I'll get to that at the end. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to keep, just keep going. But, it makes sense now. So, like I said, Tommy kept playing that shit over and over again. And he tells, Keisha, he was like, Tracy didn't snitch on me. That was something he told me before I actually did it. And that's what Keisha was like, so that's what you meant by you said you hurt those that you care about and all that kind of stuff? And I'm like, you didn't realize that he killed, like, when you found out about it, you didn't realize that Tommy was the one who did it? Like, you're not that bright, Keisha. Like, really? So, then he tells Keisha that, he got to go out for a little bit. I'm like, oh, fuck. Next, we got Tasha. She is in Angela's apartment celebrating, so Angela thinks. So, Tasha comes into the apartment and, Angela locks the door and then Tasha unlocks the door. And I'm like, oh, shit, what do we got going on here? So, they're celebrating about Terry Silver not showing up and all that kind of stuff. And Tasha's like, but that wasn't my plan. My plan was for, him to show up. She said that must have been something that you and Ghost planned and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, when is the last time you talked to him? And, Angela like, I haven't talked to him at all since, the last time that they were together. And, in walks Tommy. And he was like, he's talking about, Teresa and all that kind of stuff. And, Angela's like, well, yeah, I did do that. But what you talking about, Tasha, I didn't do. And then, somehow, they were ready to kill Angela. But she did tell them about the photos that were taken. She said those photos were taken of a picture from, you can see Sax's desk. And if they get the pictures, they will be able to see that. So that, saves her life for just a little bit, So they give Tommy time to go try to get the pictures from Vincent and see if she's telling the truth. And then you got Angela, she's meeting up with her lawyer. And he's basically telling her how things are not completely over right now. And, how there is another witness that is willing to testify against James. It's like, who is that? And then, he's telling her about Maria and all that kind of stuff. And, everything that happened with Maria. And, he says that he tells her that Silver is also gone, and he wants to know how does she know about that, which she didn't say anything about either situation. I'm like, oh, I really dislike Angela. Like, I swear she does the stupidest shit sometimes, and I'm like, why do you do the shit that you do? And then you got Proctor. He is telling, Ghost the same thing that Angela's lawyer told her, that everything with Ghost and Tommy is not over like they think it is, because there is a witness out there that is willing to testify against them, and it is a female. And, Proctor thinks that it is Angela who is willing to turn over on them and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, Proctor, why would she turn over now at this point when they just got off on all that Rico shit? Why would Angela now decide that she wants to turn on Ghost and Tommy? It doesn't even make any ounce of sense at this point. Like, think long and hard about that. I might not like Angela, but that doesn't make sense for her to get off and then turn them in at this point. Like, how much sense does that make? And we are finally at the end of the episode. So, Angela and James meet up at their old high school. And, James just has a question for her when she said that, they always find a way to save themselves. He wants to know what she meant. And she said that she means that, that they always hurt each other in the end. Like I said, they always hurt each other. And then he questions her about, what Proctor said, that there was another witness out there who was a female that was willing to testify against them. And, she wants to know about Terry Silver and all that kind of stuff. And, she tells Ghost that it's over between them. And that he says, then when she tries to leave, he says that he did not kill Silver and all that kind of stuff. But then they show a flashback of after, Silver and Tasha finished fucking, how Ghost came up behind him and strangled him and choked him out and all that kind of stuff. And then, Tommy is pulling up at the school too, which I'm trying to figure out, how did Tommy know where Ghost and Angela were? Did somebody tell him that? That is a good question. That's one thing I was confused about. How Tommy knew where to find either one of them at. So, Angela could overhear. Basically, you could hear that gun when he pulled it to lock it. You could hear that shit. And then Angela pushed Ghost out the way, and Tommy shoots Angela. And that was what everyone saw if you saw it on social media. So that was the end of the episode. Looks like Angela might be dead. So that was the end of season 5. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later for Insecure and Married to Medicine.